started playing high life. And high life has a strong influence from the church music by the British and the martial music and the American, jazz music, especially the swing form of it. But then we decided that I decided that I should, make use of the African music, not only the rhythms but the tunes. So when I was writing Heaven, Heaven is a kindergarten kind of music, and children used to play with it by saying one more heaven, heaven, heaven. It's almost a rap. But then I thought we could develop it into another form of jazz presentation with a strong African beat. And that's how it started with me. And then, but Fela was ahead of me because he had started his band a year before I came back home. And he had recorded Shakara and Lady, and I was very much interested. But, Fela was using his Yoruba form of song, and he sang in the minor key. And in Ghana, we have the Asaf music, which is totally all in the minor mood. But because we were English born, no English taught, we were playing our music, most of our music, high life music, started by E.T. Mensah, all in the major keys. So, but when we looked into, when I looked into the Adwa and Adinkum and Asaf music, you found out the composers, the ancestors, had written all of them, had composed most of their songs in the minor mood. So I started thinking of the minor mood, and it became apparent that that was our heritage. That's what we should use, rather than using the Westminster form of music like we sang in churches, or the martial music that we marched to in that school. And I started playing the Afro-funk, because it has some strong jazz, elements in it. And,
Many people like Orchestra Poliritmo de Cotonou,
yes, I know
play this Afro-funk with many influence of voodoo music, with the influence of the religious situation in Benin. For you, it's important to use this kind of rhythm, and you have used this kind of rhythm in your music.
Yes, in Ghana, we have traditional music forms that we were not using, but we were all the time thinking of playing like E.T. Mensah, who had derived his music from the British swing and foxtrots and quick steps, and they are all in the major keys. So when I started using the material at home, that was the beginning of using, for example, Kwikwanense, which was licensed by Soundway. It's also a fantasy story that talks about Kwikwanense who tricks his wife and children, and the story is now turned into music, but it's a chant. The Africans actually chant. They don't sing. Like what I mean by a chant, I'll give you an example. Aisama wuna aisame yerisnu yako da 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 da. You see, we don't have like oh God, we don't have that kind of melody. So our melody is restricted to another form of music, and that's what I was using for my Afro-funk or Afrobeat music. We were not far from it because our ancestors had made a lot of compositions, and now I don't have to compose again. I just take one of the songs and rearrange it and play.
So the new songs of this new album, Love and Death, is the old song rearranged.
Yes, yeah. It's not a new song, but the form of the progression, the chord progression, is like we are using another form of music played by our ancestors. It's you can hear that sometimes I play the guitar like I'm playing traditional music, and it's the traditional form of music that I had converted into but I sing some part of it in English and some part of it in Fanti. But it's basically African music. And Love and Death is a personal experience. When I came back from London, my wife left me, and then I cried, and I forgot. So I nearly died, and so you could see that, and the Fantis have a saying that say, love is dead, like Odoyewu, Odo is like death. If you play with love, you may die. A lot of people kill themselves because of love, commit suicide. So the Fantis have that kind of saying that love and death, they work hand in hand. So you can see that the material and the proverbial saying, it's all Fanti. It's in my traditional music.
Yes, but how go this work with these young musicians? These young musicians who don't come from Africa, like German or other part of the Europe, have the beat like the African people.
Yes, they like it because of the jazz element in it. Like pa ba da pa 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 ba da ba, or pa ba da da ba ba da 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 ba. You see the classics in it. That's what attracts them, and then the beat makes it a very new thing. I'm surprised that these boys should divert all their attention to African music, and their enthusiasm alone is driving me to be with them all the time because they are highly interested and they are very good musicians. They played German music or anything, but why African music? And why do they have to invite me to come to Berlin and record with them? So all these things, envelopes the concept that African music has a long way to go. And its acceptance by the European, it's like it's amazing, but I understand it because it's jazz. To me, Afrobeat music is jazz music. It's just because we sing in our language. Does not mean that it's not our music. Like you see that they are all jazz phrases. So actually, our jazz training, in playing at jazz clubs and learning more about jazz at school, made Fela and I or others, Femi and all this, competent in writing Afrobeat music. You see, it's jazz music. You can see that it's jazz music if you listen to Victory. It's jazz music, except that they've changed the rhythm. Apart from changing the rhythm.
And in the 70s, how was the movement from Afro funk music in Ghana and the West African?
You see, Africans were highly influenced by artists like James Brown. And the rhythm was basically African, and so Africans were dancing to it because it has a strong African roots. So I believe that most of the musicians who come later will look into that line of music rather than look at the American jazz music and play which does not give the kind of rhythmic propulsion that makes people dance. You can hear that Afrobeat goes like it has some strong dancing appeal. And that's the difference.